Hello everybody and welcome back to Doki Doki Blue Skies, episode number 3. Last time, we just, went through the whole spiel, the old welcome to the lit club where we read books and write poems. We wrote our first poem. We don't know what we wrote, but we heavily favored Yuri on the word picking, and that is the current place and time. Let's go ahead, look at those titties, and get right into this. Ahem. Says Markapi. The two of us are huddled closely together over the book, carefully reading it. I can see Yuri's gentle face in my peripheral vision. She has a stern, focused expression, her eyes slowly scanning each page. Oh gosh, I forget everyone's voice every time I do this. Ahem. Do you need a bit more time with this page, retard? Sorry. I guess I'm not really too quick of a reader. I look over and our gazes meet. There's a coy sparkling to her eyes. It's quite alright, Markapi. We can go at whatever pace you're comfortable with, retard. After all, you've been so patient with me today. It'd only be fair for me to return the favor, wouldn't it? Thanks. I'll try not to take too long. The two of us continue reading in relative silence. Even though we're so quiet, each turn of the page feels as though we're connected. As I let go of the page, it gently floats over to her and she delicately slides it under her thumb. Markapi. Having been absorbed by the story, Yuri reels me back in. Sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you. It's fine. What were you going to say? Well, I suppose I just wanted to say thank you for this. I had always hoped I could find someone to share my interest in books with. I've never really had anyone read with me before. Having someone else be there is nice. Really? I would have thought you had at least done some reading with your family. Yes, well, I did when I was younger, but... She trails off, not finishing the thought. I decide not to press her further on it right now. Yuri takes a slow, deep breath. I'm just happy that you're here for me. I mean, with me. Not that I wouldn't want you to be there for me or anything, but... I can't believe I've messed things up again. Wait, Yuri. I don't think you've done anything wrong. If anything, I think of that as a compliment. You do? Sure. If I'm being honest, I enjoy your company as well. Oh, Monica's voice. Okay, everyone. I think it's about time we share today's poems with each other. We might not have enough time if we wait too long. Oh. Yuri sighs dejectedly, looking down at the floor. Is that alright, Yuri? You look kind of down. I'm sorry if you haven't been looking forward to this. It's not that. Don't worry about me. I'm alright. Yuri lets go of the book and closes the cover, handing it back to me. We got through a fair bit today, didn't we? Do you mind if I continue a bit further on my own? Or would you prefer I only read it with you? You don't have to limit yourself on my behalf if you want to keep reading. After all, I've already finished the story before. Then I guess I'll continue reading a little bit tonight, then we'll have a bit more to talk about tomorrow. Yes, that's a good idea, Markapi. Just be sure to let me know how far you get so I can avoid spoilers for you. Alright. I skim through the book to find the page we left off on and fold it in slightly to mark for later. Why don't we use a bookmark? Don't fold your pages, that ruins the book. Anyway, by the way, you did remember to write a poem, right? Don't worry, I'm not that much of a slacker. I've got it right here in my bag. I rifle through some stray papers to pull out the page that I wrote my poem on. While I can't help but feel a little nervous, I have to admit that I'm excited now. Talking to these girls has really calmed my nerves, and now I'm just eager to share my poem. After all, judging by each girl's personality, I doubt that anyone would say anything nasty about it. Well, Natsuki, I don't know if she'd be unduly harsh though. She just seems like the type of person who enjoys ribbing on her friends. Ribbed for her pleasure. Either way, I hope they realize that I put hard work into it. I figured that it'd only be fair to repay their warm welcome by showing efforts in club activities. Now that everyone's ready, why don't you find someone to share with? I can't wait! Sayori and Malika enthusiastically pull out their poems. Sayori's is on a wrinkled sheet of loose leaf torn from a spiral notebook. On the other hand, Monica wrote hers in a neat black composition notebook. I can already see Monica's pristine handwriting from where I sit. She's going to put us all to shame. Natsuki and Yuri reluctantly comply as well, reaching into their bags. Whom should I show my poem to first? Easy. I mean, we would go Monica, but we're going Yuri, fellas, because, you know, that's my choice. That's refreshing. Yuri seems the most experienced, so I should start with her. I can trust her opinions, to be fair. Yuri's eyes seem to sparkle as she reads my poem. My goodness, this is unparalleled. I think that might be a bit too much. Forgive me if it didn't sound sincere. Yuri first covers her mouth, but then ends up covering her whole face. Don't sweat it, Yuri. I just wasn't expecting to hear such a compliment from you already. I see. Soka. Yuri clears her throat. Well, I just wanted to say, this is truly an impeccable poem. Yuri glances down back at my poem. So, I assume this isn't your first piece, am I correct? Your composition incorporated a lot of beautiful poetic devices and imagery indicative of an experienced writer. Well, I hate to disappoint, but this is kind of my first time doing this sort of thing. You're joking, right? I shake my head. If I ended up writing a good poem, it's totally coincidental, I'm afraid. I see. Well, in that case, I think you've got a wonderful gift. Although, if you would like, I could offer you some advice for your future poems. Yuri's eyes light up as though she's been looking forward to this. Please do. I need all the help I can get. That was an epic laugh. I've just noticed a few qualities consistent with newer writers that show up in your poem. You're kind of retarded. Perhaps what stands out the most is that you've tried very hard to make that structure of this poem your own. And that's okay, but if this is the first poem you've written, it might be prudent to consider more traditional structures. Couplets, sonnets, haiku, and the like. If you're not confident in your writing style, it'll show in your piece. It's like Yuri's a totally different person once she gets going. She sounds incredibly confident and stands tall, speaking clearly. Again, that's not your fault. I think that once you've studied poetic structures and techniques a bit more, you'll be able to put together a truly wonderful composition. I appreciate the feedback, Yuri. It sounds like you're well versed in this sort of thing. Would it be okay if I took a look at what you've written? Oh goodness, of course. Please let me know what you think. I'd be thrilled to explain my process. Yuri smiles dreamily, as if that's a rare opportunity for her. Which itself is kind of funny. After all, isn't this supposed to be a literature club? Tumble, hail falls down like discarded dust of overused emotions, dragging down blankets made of want. This is... The scroll kind of fucked me up for a second and I was disoriented. Slender string pieces my eyelids. Is this a 757? Slender string pieces, my eyelids. Maybe the first one was. Barely painful and pulls them shut, even so heavy. Ever so heavy, ever so heavy. She writes in cursive, so it's a bit alternative lifestyle. I think I've misplaced something. Is there a piece missing? You need all the pieces to fix something. Please don't look for it. There are important things for you to do today. I'm sorry if my writing's a bit illegible. I can't do it in the girl voice. Once my pen touches the page, I just want to get my thoughts down. It's fine, Yuri. I was able to read it just fine. He lied through his teeth. Teeth. And Tifuka. I wasn't thinking at all. Are you sure? It seemed to take you a while to read it. She keeps saying we're a slow reader. Yuri's a bit mean. I kind of like it. Well, I guess I don't see cursive often. But it's really nice when I do. Your writing's actually quite pretty. Is that so? I'm glad you think so. It made your poem stand out even more as well. It's as though your handwriting fits your word choice, or vice versa. It wasn't too short, was it? I'm used to writing longer pieces, but since this is the first time we're sharing, I thought it would be easier to share. That makes sense. Do you mind telling me what it's about, though? I'm not sure I understand. Sorry, I didn't mean to write something confusing. Oh, it's not that. I just want to be sure I'm reading it properly. I see. I suppose from a cursory glance, it might not be obvious. But part of what makes poetry magical is how you can conjure up a vivid image with your words. While on the surface it might seem a bit out there, if you look a little deeper, you might be able to find a deeper meaning hidden amongst the lines, compounded by the metaphors used. For example, the words and images in this poem aren't meant to be taken at face value. In actuality, it's supposed to represent the last remnants of something lost to the past, and the sense of plaintive longing that comes with it. Huh? That's pretty impressive when you put it that way. I need a little drinky break. You know, we're into this video, man. You all need to take a drink too. Go get a beverage. No Capri Suns though. It's after 7, so we can't have that yet. Maybe 2 tomorrow. You really think so? That might be a bit much, Markapi. No, I really mean it. I think I could learn something from your poetry, Yuri. Really? Yeah, of course. You know, at first the prospect of sharing my writings was terrifying, but I'm really glad I was able to do it. Hopefully I can write another piece that you'll like, Markapi. I'll look forward to it, Yuri. I wish my parents named me Markapi. Fuck. Let's go Monica, because that's epic. Hi, Markapi. Hope you've been enjoying your time here. Yeah, definitely. I probably sound like a broken record by now, but everyone's been really welcoming. Well, a broken record isn't so bad when it plays something so nice. I guess so. Anyway, since you're new and everything, feel free to bring up any questions or concerns you might have. It's my duty as president to make sure that everything is perfect. I'd have to say that you've been doing a good job of that already. I doubt that I'll ever have anything to complain about. Either way, I'm always open to new suggestions for the club as well. So don't be afraid to bring things up, okay? Alright, I'll keep that in mind. She says that, but it's gonna be a bit intimidating to try to criticize Monica of all people. I really don't think that there's going to be anything I'll need to speak up about either. One of the other girls would probably say something before I ever needed to. Natsuki definitely would. Now that that's out of the way, feel like sharing your poem with me? I mean, I don't really have a choice in the matter, do I? You shouldn't be thinking like that. Yeah, I was just joking. Kinda. It's alright, Markapi. I get that it's probably really awkward for you to share a creative work with when you're just a beginner. Especially since the rest of us have a bit more experience than you do. That's an understatement. Don't worry though, we're all a little embarrassed today, you know? I don't think many people out there share their poetry on a regular basis. But it's the sort of thing that you get used to pretty quickly once you get it over with. Yeah, that's true. I hand my poem over with a sigh. Don't grade me too harshly. Haha, you'll be fine. I watch nervously as she quickly scans through my poem. Good work, Markapi. Really? You can lay the brutal truth on me if you want. Haha, you don't have to be so harsh on yourself. This is your first time writing poetry, isn't it? That it is. It usually takes a while for people to become completely comfortable with their writing, and even then, they're constantly evolving their style and changing things up. I guess that's true. Either way, you shouldn't have high expectations for me. If you don't, my poems will seem better when I actually put in some effort anyway. I mutter that line half-jokingly to myself, but it seems like Monica's still picked up on it. Markapi! That's not very fair. More importantly, though, you should have faith in yourself. Sorry. Anyway, about your poem, the subject was deeper than I expected out of you. You just don't understand the troubled genius of my angst-ridden mind. Haha, that might have been so. I guess we have two troubled and angsty geniuses in this club then. You're talking about Yuri, right? Mm-hmm. You wrote in a style very similar to Yuri's. Her writing is full of imagery and symbolism, while Sayori and Natsuki like to use simple and direct words to communicate their messages. Yuri likes to use complex diction. Oh, just give me that diction and syntax to allow readers to derive their own meanings out of it. She uses syntax grenades? That's pretty epic. In other words, her vocabulary and sentence structure are usually is that involved? I'm gonna assume. We'll check the history. Quite involved. Man, it's doing these voices, man. It takes quite a lot from Miss Markapi's little vocal cords. Huh? Yeah, that sounds like her, all right. Mm-hmm. It might be a bit tough to understand her writings at first, but what seems opaque actually has very deep meaning behind it. Man, I don't know. I guess I've been out of the thesaurus game for a while, because a lot of these words I'm like, I think I know what it means, but I'm not sure. Yeah, the themes of Yuri's poems were definitely hard to even figure out. She sounds like the sort of person an English teacher would love. Did I double click? I guess the text just appeared really quick. It was like I double clicked, but I did not. Don't worry, Markapi. If you just give her writing a few read-throughs, I'm sure you'll find that they're very far from incomprehensible. So you say. Are you sure that my writing is similar to hers? I think it's an understatement to say that I'm nowhere near her level yet. Don't worry so much about that. You do your own thing. Just keep exploring and learn by trying new things. Yeah, I'm sure I'll end up doing a lot of different things before I settle on my own style. And it still takes a while before I'm completely comfortable sharing my writings. That's perfectly fine. In fact, I'd probably be more surprised if you immediately started writing with your own style. Most people go through the same process that you're going through right now. Trying new things is the best way to find the kind of style that suits you after all. Anyway, when you talk to everyone about it, naturally they'll be a bit biased towards their own kinds of styles. After all, I know I am. Hee. But don't force yourself to write in some way just because someone else wants you to. You should try to focus on what you want to do. Feel free to ask me for help anytime, though. I try to be as objective as possible when I talk to people about these topics. Thanks, I'll keep that in mind. Anyway, do you want to read my poem now? Don't worry, I'm not very good. You sound pretty confident for someone who claims to be not very good. Well, that's because I have to sound confident. That doesn't mean I always feel that way, you know? Always on duty as club president, eh? Hee. Well, let's get to reading then. Alright, this is titled The Box. I see, but I don't believe. A lone fingerprint glistening on gleaming glass. Was it me? Was I always the one in the dark? I pound on the glass. My prison. Why? Why me? The pain jolts me back. The understanding pouring down like heavy rain. It's all a farce. My heart's on display. My life's but a script just playing away. The world out there had seemed so bright. It was so free, so many choices, so much potential. Maybe I could have had a chance. I realize now that there was never a choice. I was stuck in the box, and they, on the other side, chose for me. Interesting. So, what do you think? I don't quite know how to say it. Sorry, I'm not really the right person to ask for feedback. Haha, it's okay. I definitely get a certain kind of feeling from reading your poem, but I'm not sure how to put it into words. I can understand that. Just try to articulate it however you want. You can use metaphors outside of poetry, you know? Well, when you put it like that, I don't know. I'd say that your poem is kind of abstract. Very vague, at least. Like, I can't quite tell what exactly you're talking about, but even so, I can feel what the speaker's feeling. Yeah, I think that describes my poem pretty well. Really? I do like my metaphors, hee. Well, you'd probably be hard-pressed to find a poem without a metaphor, actually. Yeah, they're pretty well covered in English class, at least. The ability to convey emotions and concepts through words describing things even the writer might never had experienced before. I find that really powerful. When you write metaphorically, it allows the reader to focus on the emotions in the poem. I guess it kind of opens it up for the reader to have their own interpretations. Exactly. It's fascinating when people can diverge from the creator's original intent to find their own meanings in a work of art. Yeah. What was your original intent then? I think it'd be more fun if you try to figure it out yourself. That just makes me more curious now. Maybe I'll tell you one day. But for now, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Sometimes when you're writing a poem, or anything for that matter, you get too fixated on a specific point. But if you try so hard to make it perfect, then you'll never make any progress. So the best thing to do is just force yourself to get something down on the paper and then tidy it up for later. Anyway, another way to think about it is this. If you keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you'll just get a big dark puddle of ink. So just move your hand and write whatever's in your heart. Easier said than done. I get what she's trying to say though. It's better to look back on your work with fresh eyes after you've gotten something down sometimes. That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. Alright, water break. Gosh darn. Well, who do we pick next? Eeny, meeny, miny, not Natsuki. I wish there was a way just to skip her, man. Ellipse, if you will. You said this is your first poem, right? Yeah, why? It impressed me. Especially for your first poem. Maybe this really is the place for you, come on, it's not that good. I mean, it's not like I'm used to writing poems or anything. But thanks, I guess. Don't be so hard on yourself, Markapi. Everyone has to start from somewhere. You're already off to a good start. Anyway, I guess I can show you mine now. Don't expect too much though, I'm not very good at this. Only one way to find out. Alright, Dear Sunshine. The way you glow through my blinds in the morning, it makes me feel like you missed me. Kissing my forehead to help me out of bed, making me rub the sleepy from my eyes. That's a weird sentence. Are you asking me to come out and play? Are you trusting me to wish away a rainy day? I look above, the sky is blue. It's a secret, but I trust you too. If it wasn't for you, I could sleep forever, but I'm not mad. I want breakfast. Truly one of the great philosophers of our time. Well, what do you think? I hesitate as I answer. It's not that it was a bad poem. In fact, it was great. I'm just really inexperienced with poetry, especially feedback. It's really you. What's that supposed to mean? As in, the poem just really reminds me of you. It made me feel really good inside. Really? Yeah, I had no idea what to expect as this is my first time reading your poetry, but the way this was written, I don't know, it feels really wholesome and cheery. Like you are. I also really liked the last line. Trust you of all people to include breakfast in their poems. Hey, I was eating it when I wrote... Sayori stopped speaking immediately as if she's accidentally let something slip. Oh, so you wrote this poem this morning? Huh? No. Well, maybe. I forgot to write it last night. Well, at least we know where your inspiration comes from. Eggs and toast. Well, I suppose if it sounds silly but it works, then it isn't silly. Either way, thanks for showing me your poem, Sayori. It was really good. I'm happy... Whoa, mixed the two voices there. I'm happy you think so. Anyway, next time I won't forget. Tomorrow's poem will be even better. I'll hold you to that. Skip. That'd be epic. Natsuki, we're gonna need a drink before this for sure. Lubricate my vocal cords before they get just absolutely pounded. Alright. Markopi, if you're actually not gonna try, then you're better off just leaving the club, retard. Jeez, you don't beat around the bush, do you? Why should I? This is just plain bad. Hey, do I look like a writer? This was my first ever poem. Yeah, it's probably garbage, but I still tried. If you're so confident, let's see the poem you wrote, huh? Hard to think about? Fine. I'm, sorry if you were offended. Way to avoid a direct apology. But next time, at least try a little bit harder, retard. Nowhere to go but up, eh? Yeah, sure, whatever. Just read my poem. Knowing you, you'll probably hate it. Sometimes. Some folks are winners, some only lose, some are go-getters, some only cruise. Sometimes we try hard and give it our all, sometimes we give up. What else can we do? Okay. Yeah, a little speechless there. Told you you'd hate it. Actually, I like it. What? Don't just say it's good because I'm a girl. Be honest. What? No, it has nothing to do with you being a girl. I genuinely like the poem. Really? Yeah, it's simple but still pretty effective. Finally, someone who gets it. People in high school think poetry has to be so formal and vague, but they don't realize that simple writing is just as effective, if not more. The reader should have to search for the meaning. That's just stupid. Besides, the simpler the writing, the more emphasis on wordplay. Like how I made most of the lines start with some. Yeah, I noticed that. Made the last couplets seem more powerful. One more drink. Yes, that's exactly what I was going for. Well, good job then. Huh, didn't expect that from the youngest of the club, did ya? Yeah, guess not. Epic. Phew. I guess that's everyone. I glanced around the room. That was surprisingly fun, albeit a bit stressful. Ooh-wee. I already knew that I wouldn't be able to write to the quality of the girls, but I tried my best. Everyone here is incredibly talented. Well, all the girls at least. Across the room, Sayori and Monica are happily chatting again. My eyes land on Yuri and Natsuki. They gingerly exchange sheets of paper, sharing their respective poems. As I watch, Natsuki breezes through Yuri's poem, her eyes skipping over the words. Meanwhile, Yuri stares at the paper in her hands, smiling sadly. Natsuki quickly hands Yuri her poem back. Here, I'm done. Already? Yeah, it's not like it was super hard to read. I'm not illiterate, you know. Huh? It was hard for me to understand, at least. I just want to make sure that you caught all the figurative language that I employed. Yeah, I did. It was fancy. Thanks. However, I believe that you'd enjoy it more if you looked deeper into it. I enjoyed it plenty already. Anyway, are you finished with my poem then? Yes, yours is cute. Cute? Didn't you learn anything from our conversation yesterday? Yuri looks shocked, regret seeping into her expression. Seems like both girls still hold their own prejudices despite whatever common ground they have. How can it be cute? You're standing there thinking that I haven't read your poem when it's really you who hasn't read my poem. It's clearly about the push and pull between giving up and trying hard. I know that. I just meant the language, I guess. Well, maybe you should look deeper into my poem, because I use the type of language on purpose. I see. But if I may give a suggestion, these more involved subject matters may be better suited to more complex diction. The art of poetry is deeply intertwined with... Look, I know what you're trying to do, but it won't work on me. I'm sorry, but I don't quite understand. This kind of thing only works on amateurs like Mark Hoppy. Ouch. I don't know where this conversation is headed. Writing in this way doesn't make you look cool or smart, okay? It just makes you look super pretentious. If you write with a thesaurus open next to you, you're just going to alienate everyone. Using all these big words to make up for lack of depth. Poetry isn't about impressing people, so you can just stop. Holy crap. I stare wide-eyed at Monica and Sayori, who have now also fallen silent. They stare back at me, looking unsure of what to do. I'm guessing that they don't usually have many arguments in the club. Although tension between Natsuki and Yuri already seemed kind of high. Lack of depth? Yeah, that's right. So, if I can give some suggestions now. Excuse me. I appreciate the offer, but I really must ask. What makes you believe that I'll accept your advice after you've been so rude to me? Huh? Rude? That was just blunt honesty. Do you ever consider that other people don't hold the same opinion as you? What are you trying to say? Do I really need to spell it out for you? Yeah, you do. I want to see if you're really going there. The irony. I dare you to say it. Yuri gives a small laugh of disbelief. I must thank you, Natsuki. I've never been this angry in my life. It's actually given me the courage to speak up. Is this why you're angry all the time? Guys, we shouldn't... This doesn't involve you! This doesn't involve you! I can't do both their voices at once. I don't know what I'm doing. Sayori, please don't rob me of my moment. So, this is your moment to shine or something? Strange thing to take pride in, don't you think? No. It's my moment to finally speak my mind, while I still have the strength to. Yuri. Natsuki, have you ever realized how selfish you are? Suddenly Yuri seems to be overpowering everyone else in the room. What? Everything always needs to go your way. You always jump to conclusions and make rash decisions without regard for the consequences. And it's never your fault, is it? You don't know me. No, you don't know me either. And yet you spoke as if you knew everything about me. Quite simply, you don't. The very fact you don't think that your blunt honesty was incredibly rude just goes to show how narrow-minded you truly are. Damn. Seizing her moment, Yuri boldly carries on, disdain dripping from each word. I know it must be a difficult concept for you to understand, but the whole world doesn't revolve around you and your manga. So tell me, why should I take advice from someone who can only see their own perspective? You can't say that word, Natsuki. Everyone knows it. Monica, Sayori, even Markapi. Don't you remember how hostile you were to Markapi when he first joined? I wasn't being hostile. We haven't had a new member in a long time. Sorry, not sorry for keeping on my toes. And that's how I talk to everyone, not just to Markapi. And I suppose to change my whole personality to cater to how you think I should be. If Markapi has a problem with my jokes, he can tell me. You don't get to speak for him. Yuri closes her eyes and shakes her head, carrying on as if she didn't hear the outburst. Do you really expect a new member to be able to speak up so easily? Not everyone is unafraid of being a brutish cretin as you. What? The rest of us were so excited to have a new member, but did the thought ever cross your mind? No, you just let your own selfish thoughts dictate your behavior. Selfish? They weren't so... You could have scared him off. That might have been what you wanted, but what about the rest of us? I just explained myself for God's sake, but as per usual, you aren't listening. You know, for someone who's been ranting on about how narrow-minded I am, you're pretty intolerant yourself. There, I used a big word. Do I sound like Shakespeare yet? Am I worthy of your attention now? Ouch, both girls really have their claws out. Also, Monica and Sayori didn't have any issue with me yesterday. It's just you. Of course they did, Natsuki. They just didn't say anything. Monika's too responsible and Sayori's too kind. So why don't we ask Markapi then, as the more unbiased spectator? Fine. Markapi, who's right? Me or Yuri? How did I get dragged into this in the first place? I don't even know what they want me to decide on at this point. Should I just ignore all the personal stuff and talk about their poetry? That's what started the argument after all. But it's not like I'm a good judge of writing quality given that I'm just a beginner. I don't think it would be fair for me to take either side. I don't think it would be fair for me to take either side. Either. Especially since I'm new here. Maybe I should defer to one of the club's leaders. So of course that's going to be... Oh, look at this. They're leaving us with a choice. Who would be better at diffusing a situation? Probably Monica. I honestly don't know what to think to do in this situation. I quickly glance over to Monica. Monica nods at me and approaches the two girls. Yuri and Natsuki, this is... She clears her throat. Is it just me, or did her confident persona seem to waver a bit? That is... This is no way to act in our club. Monica does seem sort of disoriented. She's probably not used to such confrontation. You're kind of setting a bad example. Markapi's probably really uncomfortable. Not to mention that there's really no reason for this argument to be happening. But Monica! No, I can't have this in the club. Are you kidding me? Don't you see how Yuri is treating me? She's being a massive jerk right now. There's so much reason for this argument. Excuse me, Natsuki, but it's actually your own toxic behavior that led to this. Yuri emphasized that toxic bit. Toxic behavior? What are you talking about? Are you even listening to yourself? This is exactly why no one wants to be your... Enough. Monica seems to have gotten over herself and now looks livid. You guys are supposed to be friends, aren't you? It's so foolish how you two are acting. Don't you have any consideration for the other club members? You're even making Markapi uncomfortable. Yuri, Didn't you say yourself that you wanted to make him feel as welcome as possible? What happened to that? I didn't mean to make him feel that way. And don't forget Sayori. She always acts in everyone's best interest. While you two act like this? I wasn't trying to do anything either. I'm just being honest. Yuri is... Let me finish, Natsuki. I would ask you to please consider the way you are treating one another. You guys are obviously talented with your writing skills, and you both have unique aspects to your writing skills. That's what makes you guys special. To be fair, I'm obviously not good with handling situations like this, but there's a sudden pause for a minute, and I decided to break the silence. I agree with Monica. Fighting will only cause everyone to split apart, and to be honest, I really like it here, and I believe if there's any resentment held over it, it just won't be the same. Both girls are speechless. Yuri is the first to speak. I'm just going to make tea. Natsuki remains silent and takes a seat only to stare into nothingness. I slide next to Sayori. Man, I can see why she's president. Yeah, she's pretty great. Even though she doubts herself, I think she handled that pretty well. Monica seems like such a genuine sweet girl. Hopefully I'll be able to properly get to know her during the school year. Okay everyone, it's just about time for us to leave. How did you all feel about sharing your poetry? I noticed that she carefully avoids mentioning the argument that just occurred. It was a lot of fun. Some moments were worth it. It was alright. Well, mostly. Markapi, how about you? I actually really enjoyed myself. It seems I do like expressing myself through poetry, a lot more than initially thought. Everyone looks intensely at me, the girls smiling at me. Nice. It was really cool getting to see everyone's different writing styles. That's awesome. In that case, we'll do the same thing tomorrow. And hopefully, you learn something from us too. So your poems will turn out even better. Yeah. I think to myself a bit as I begin to pack up. Today I managed to learn a little more about the kinds of poems that everyone likes. With any luck, I'll be able to learn more about the girls as individuals through their themes and messages. I nod to myself, turning to Sayori. Hey Sayori, ready to walk home? Sure! Okay, see you guys tomorrow then. As we leave the club room, Sayori turns back to wave at the girls. I do the same. Natsuki smiles, then quickly looks away to act like she doesn't care. Yuri awkwardly smiles and nods, and as expected from the school idol, Monica gives a friendly grin and waves back. Sayori, about what happened earlier. What do you mean? You know, between Yuri and Natsuki, I remember you told me yesterday that they sometimes bicker, but are all their arguments normally that bad? I feel a little guilty as I ask her, as I know she doesn't like talking about conflict. There's a slight dip in the cheeriness of her voice as she replies. No, not at all. They have their differences, but it's the first time I've ever seen them fight like that. They're both wonderful people, I promise. You don't hate them or anything, do you? Oh, not at all. It's only normal for people to argue, I guess. I was just curious. After all, you know them better than I do. Sayori lets out a relieved sigh. You know, Markapi, it's been so nice seeing you again. I didn't really think we'd get to spend so much time with one another again. Yeah, tell me about it. It's been really fun hanging out again. I don't really know when we started drifting or why. Guess it was just life coming between us. She nods, looking a little reflective. Still, I'm glad you let me join your club. I'm not going to lie, at first I was a bit doubtful when you told me about it. It was about literature. But hey, I guess it just goes to show you that you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. She giggles and I frown. Did I say something funny? Hehe, nice pun. Did you realize? Huh? Pun? You mean about the book comment? Oh, and this is a literature club. Geez, looks like the club's really starting to rub off on me, isn't it? Sayori might be known as a bit of an airhead, but sometimes she can really notice things that others don't. I wonder what it's really like inside her head. You haven't changed at all, Markapi. You always knew how to make me laugh. I blushed slightly. I've never really known how to react to that compliment, especially when it comes from someone of the opposite sex. I'm glad I'm still able to do that. I'll be honest though, I didn't think I'd make so many new friends by joining the club. Well, they're a really nice bunch. I'm not surprised. Yeah, a pretty warm welcome. She nods contentedly. Anyway, let's see what the future holds. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, see you tomorrow. These girls are all interesting characters, aren't they? Different personalities and a variety of writing styles. Yet they're all united under the same club. I briefly wonder how Monica found them all. In just 2 days, I feel like I've made progress with each member. Getting to know Yuri and Natsuki, actually getting to talk to Monica a little bit, and of course, reuniting with an old friend. I never would have guessed this would have all come from joining the club, but hey, I'm not complaining. Let's just hope my writing improves over time so I can write poems to a standard more like theirs. Speaking of which, there is work to be done tonight. Let's do this. Epic. You know what? That's a pretty darn good place to end things off, I think, if I do say so myself. We'll write this poem in the next episode. So, thank you for watching this episode. Go ahead, give it a nice fat like, give it a juicy comment, and just smack that subscribe button with your beautiful fingers. And as always, help me find a girlfriend. And bye-bye.